Hey everyone, I'm your host Kayla.
And I'm Madeline. Welcome back to another episode of Sneak Peek.
We're so excited to be back again this week.
From award show predictions to new movie reviews, we have a lot to cover in this episode, so let's get straight to it.
If you've gotten tired of binge watching the same shows over the past couple of months, no need to fear. The month of February is giving us plenty of new content.
For fans of horror and thrillers, the first episode of Clarice premiered on CBS last Thursday.
This show highlights the life of FBI agent Clarice Starling, first introduced to us in the 1991 film Silence of the Lambs, and the events that play out a year after her first interactions with Hannibal Lecter.
The show has gotten some mixed reviews from critics so far, but regardless, it's interesting to see how lead actress Rebecca Breeds will take on the classic character first portrayed by Jodie Foster.
If you're more interested in docuseries, there are a few notable releases that we recommend you take a look at.
One that I'm sure you've seen people talk about online is Framing Britney Spears, the 6th episode in the New York Times Presents series.
The 75-minute episode breaks down Britney Spears' journey from small-town Louisiana girl to world-famous pop star. It also highlights the controversial conservatorship Spears is in with her father and shows her fans' support to free Britney.
Another documentary to keep your eyes peeled for is Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, premiering on February 26th on Apple TV+.
Billie Eilish has taken the world by storm over the past several years, leaving a huge impact on our generation's culture. So I'm super excited to get a closer look into her journey.
And if you don't have time to invest in a full-length show but still need a quick pick-me-up to entertain yourself, don't forget to search up some of the iconic commercials that have premiered at the 2021 Super Bowl last week.
We saw a ton of celebrity cameos. Some of our favorites include our beloved fellow Longhorn Matthew McConaughey in a Doritos ad, Timothy Chalamet dressing up as Edward Scissorhands for a Cadillac ad, and Drake putting on the classic red polo and khakis combo to become Drake from State Farm.
I promise they're each both unique and entertaining, and they're just a simple YouTube search away.
If new shows and commercials aren't enough, there are a couple of recent movie releases we've reviewed that we are thrilled to share with you.
We'll start it off with Timo and Ryan's review of Minari. Take it away, guys.
Hey Sneak Peekers, I'm Timo Nelson.
And I'm Ryan Schwinn. Today we have left our homes, our virtual studio, and decided to move out to live off the land. You know, farming and such.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We're actually reviewing one of the most anticipated films of this award season, Minari.
Yeah, I guess that too. Minari has had incredible buzz going into this year's award season and finally released this past Friday, the 12th, and so we thought we'd give our thoughts on the film.
And of course, we thought that if we're gonna do this right, we better try our luck growing some vegetables like Mr. Yi does in the film.
This film is a semi-autobiographical account of director Lee Isaac Chung's childhood as a Korean immigrant in rural Arkansas.
As soon as the film started, I was hit by the chemistry of the incredible ensemble cast. Stephen Yoon and Han Yi-ri play husband and wife, with Alan Kim and Noel Cho as their children. But the actor that really shines is the grandmother, played by Yoon Yoo-jung. Despite being advertised as a farming tale, the story really focuses on the interpersonal relationships of the characters, and this is where it shines. Jacob and Monica fight over the future of their marriage and family, and young David is confronted by a grandmother who seems nothing like what he imagines a grandma should be. The actors play off each other extremely well and create some pretty funny as well as some moving emotional moments.
But ultimately, a good cast can't make a great film without strong technical aspects, which luckily, Minari has in spades. The film's editing isn't slow per se, but instead creates a very purposeful pace that keeps the audience engaged. And of course, Chung's writing and directing is fantastic. He calls forth from his memories a film that, while inspired by nostalgia in the past, never feels like it's out of the past. Instead, the film feels fresh, and that's due to how relatable its themes and characters are. The cinematographer shoots the film with a beautiful and loving gaze but doesn't romanticize the past to get lost in the nostalgia. Like we said, the film takes a very hard look at a family in crisis.
We think that this film deserves a much stronger hold on the awards season, particularly nominations for Ewan and Yoo Jung for actor and supporting actress, as well as nominations for picture, director, screenplay, and while the film's score and editing are much more low-key than other nominee hopefuls, that doesn't make them any less deserving of nominations. There has been some controversy though. Minari was put in the foreign film category for the Golden Globes, disqualifying it from Best Picture Drama. This was because the film was partially in Korean, and yet the film takes place in America and is about the American dream, while other films like Inglourious Bastards competed in the drama category despite having a much larger percentage of the dialogue spoken in languages other than English.
If you want to catch Minari, it's showing around the area in select theaters. Be sure to wear a mask and practice social distancing if you decide to view it in person. But it's also playing online at A24's virtual cinema now through the 25th. Be quick though, because the limited streaming spots are filling up fast and you don't want to miss this film. I give Minari a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I give Minari a 4.5 out of 5 stars as well. That's all from us. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Welcome back, everyone.
In honor of Black History Month, I think it's important to highlight and honor some of the most powerful figures from the civil rights movement.
This is exactly what the film One Night in Miami does. It tells an incredible story of a fictional night where Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, and Sam Cooke and Jim Brown meet up to discuss their roles in the movement.
We have Alexandra here to give us her candid review of the film. Take it away, Alexandra.
Hello, Sneak Peek, and welcome back. This week, I'm excited to share with you my thoughts on Regina King's directorial debut, One Night in Miami. Starring Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke, Eli Goree as Cassius Clay, Aldous Hodge as Jim Brown, and Kingsley Ben-Adir as Malcolm X. The film provides an extremely unique take on the intersection between fiction and nonfiction. Centered around true relationship and events, One Night in Miami tells the story of a night shared by these 4 men at the Hampton House Motel. But in this case, the dialogue and discussion are merely a possibility of what they may have shared with one another, rather than anything we know that was actually said. The night that the title references is February 25th, 1964. Cassius Clay, soon to be known as Muhammad Ali, had just defeated Sonny Liston and earned the title of heavyweight world champion. His loud, boastful temperament is starkly contrasted by that of Malcolm X, who is anxious and reserved, anticipating an oncoming crisis as he plans to leave the Nation of Islam. Sam Cooke and Jim Brown are facing struggles of their own in the music and football industries, as both are navigating their own roles in the respective fields. The discourse in the motel room first becomes clear when Malcolm X suggests that Cooke should be more vocal with his music in connection to the civil rights movement. Clay is deciding whether or not to go public with his conversion to Islam, and Brown is making a switch to the movie business. The conversations become intertwined, and for the rest of the night, the 4 discuss the struggles and pains of their positions in navigating personal success while also fulfilling an obligation to the Black community. Do they owe the devotion of Malcolm? Are his methods the right one? The film poses countless questions to both the characters and the viewers, taking everyone along for a ride on an intellectual roller coaster. The juxtaposition of such private, intimate conversation with the discussion of such public matters was fantastic, pulling viewers in every possible emotional direction. Personally, I felt like a fly on the wall the whole time, experiencing the up-close and personal history of these men with every unfolding scene. Whether it be Leslie Odom Jr.'s coverage of Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come or Goree's embodiment of Clay's childlike energy, One Night in Miami has something for everyone. It's perfectly refreshing and nostalgic at the same time, and for that, I hope that everyone gets a chance to see it. And hey, it's already up for 3 Golden Globes, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. That's all from me this week. Back to the hosts.
Thanks, Alexandra.
I'm definitely going to have to watch this one soon.
With the 46th season of SNL nearly coming to an end, we couldn't help but review the latest episode.
Regina King hosted alongside musical guest Nathaniel Rateliff, and Mason is here to break down the performance.
Let's hear it, Mason.
Hey, sneak peekers. I hope that as you've been settling into 2021, you've found time for a few laughs and have been able to catch up on the new episodes released for season 46 of SNL, as they've recently returned from their holiday break. But for those of you who need a little recap and some recommendations before jumping into the rest of the season, we've gone ahead and reviewed the first 3 episodes released since the hiatus. So, starting off with episode 10, John Krasinski led us into the new year as SNL's first host for 2021. To be honest, I was a little nervous about what the rest of the season would look like, as the majority of this episode just rehashed jokes introduced in the cold open. While no one expects SNL to reinvent the wheel, I had hoped that they would at least have venture a little further from the repeated sketches on QAnon conspiracies, GameStop stock, social media bans, and COVID party fouls, or that they had at least had something new to say about these topics. However, I was pleasantly surprised with the second half of this episode, as the last couple of sketches explored lighter topics that were easier to handle, such as Subway rebranding. Additionally, Machine Gun Kelly's performances as this episode's musical guest were energetic enough to push the show along. And before moving on, I do feel obligated to at least mention the John Krasinski-Pete Davidson kiss, but I was honestly a little underwhelmed by their lukewarm approach to that type of stunt. Now, with my main issue from episode 10 being repetitiveness, Dan Levy brought a breath of fresh air as the host for episode 11. While jokes surrounding COVID, satirical takes on racial tension, and jabs at Marjorie Taylor Greene / QAnon continued to be heavily featured throughout this episode, the pacing was far improved in my opinion, as more random and quirky sketches were sprinkled throughout to provide some much needed variety and levity. It also helped that this episode's close proximity to the Super Bowl allowed for some different takes on COVID satire, as the cast poked fun at the effect the pandemic has had on game day traditions. Phoebe Bridgers also radiated as this episode's musical guest, with plenty of skeleton onesies, indie vibes, and guitar smashing to go around. Now, similarly to Dan Levy, I think that Regina King did a great job hosting episode 12, keeping her jokes fresh even when they occasionally trekked over familiar territory. With sketches covering everything from emotionally manipulative Pelotons, Gorilla Glue hair gel, and suggestive feminist slam poetry, the unique perspectives introduced in this episode provided King with several opportunities to shine. This episode's weekend update was also the best of the 3 episodes in my opinion, with a child-eating witch interested in QAnon and a heartbroken relationships expert making special appearances. And to top it all off, Nathaniel Rateliff was featured as this episode's musical guest, and while his folk stylings may not have been quite as exciting as the other performances, his powerful vocals were still noteworthy. So, after a bit of a rocky start, SNL season 46 has started to pick back up. You can check out this week's episode live on NBC or through their streaming service, Peacock.
Hey, Sneak Peekers, I'm Hunter Gasaway. With the Golden Globes coming up at the end of this month, we thought it would be a great time to discuss this year's nominees. So, to start off with a great question, what do y'all believe is the biggest snub this year? Alexis, Grace?
Grace, you want to start? Or...
Yeah, I feel like for me, I was thinking about it. I was surprised to not see Zendaya on there for Malcolm and Marie. I feel like everyone was raving about her performance. I feel like she was snubbed a little bit.
Yes, I would definitely say the same. Zendaya's performance was, oh my goodness, like I was so like seeing her come from like Disney and then now like bigger, like just making her way up, it just really shows, and she did such a great job for that part of Maria. So like I would definitely say Zendaya. That really shocked me.
Yeah, with the comedy category being so weak this year, someone else that I'm going to throw in who I believe got a big snub was Pete Davidson for the King of Staten Island.
Yes.
He nominated a bunch of very weak performances in the comedy category, and Pete Davidson delivered a career best performance that really impressed me. And so I think that was a pretty big snub.
Yeah.
To flip it on a little bit of the opposite side, what are some of y'all's favorite shows or movies that are nominated this year?
I was really happy to see Schitt's Creek on there. I know it kind of like swept at the Emmys, so I was glad that it's still going strong at the Golden Globes. I love that show.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, it's so good.
For sure. I know that's like so cliche to say that, but like I was like, oh yes. Mwah.
Yeah, Dan Levy is such a star at this point.
Mhm.
For me, some people I was really happy to see included were all in the supporting actor category. There were 3 great performances this year in the supporting actor category, and they all got included, in my opinion. And that's Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, and Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of the Chicago 7. I thought all 3 of those movies were really great, and they gave fantastic performances in them. So I was really excited to see those 3 dudes included.
Yes, oh my goodness. There's like so much I can say about him because especially from seeing Get Out, that like made me fall in love with him. Like he's such a great actor and so underrated. I think he deserves like so much more roles in the future so he can be nominated more, and I hope he wins. I absolutely love him. Just everything. And then Queen and Slim, oh, such a good film. But yes, I definitely hope he wins. He's amazing for sure.
Yeah, so one of the controversial picks this year was Emily in Paris. Do y'all have any thoughts about the nomination of Emily in Paris?
I just like I don't get why it was nominated. Like I feel like it was like just a mindless show that you just like it was entertaining, but like I wouldn't call it anything like fantastic. Like it wasn't like groundbreaking.
Yeah, I
No.
wouldn't nominate it for a Golden Globe. I don't know. I was just really like
Yeah.
Grace said, it was more like entertaining wise, but like not necessarily like award worthy.
Yeah.
What movie or actor or show that got nominated was like the biggest, oh my gosh, how did this get nominated moment this year? Because I feel like there's a couple every year that you're like, that got nominated
Like good or bad way?
in a bad way.
In a
Like
bad way?
that did
Okay.
not deserve to be nominated.
Okay. Mm,
Like James Corden maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
I was like there were better people in that movie. Like it wasn't a bad like the problem wasn't bad, but I was like out of everyone, like you had Meryl Streep and like Nicole Kidman, I was like, you're gonna choose James Corden out of everyone in that? I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would,
Like,
yeah, I would argue that Andrew Reynolds did a far better job in the same
yes,
film in that same category and could have very
yes,
easily taken James Corden's slot. He's a better singer, a better
hmm
actor, better comedian. I just
he's
thought all
fantastic.
around a better performance.
I agree. Yeah.
And that
Yes.
was a big. So to take it in a little bit of a serious direction, how do you think the pandemic has affected this year's Golden Globe nominees? Has it
Uh,
not, or has it affected in a large way?
I feel like it has really like affected it in a large way only because I know a lot of productions were going on around that time that we were having to be quarantined, which I mean still should be quarantined, but just the fact that productions couldn't go out like they should have this past year kind of like decreases like the chances for other creations to be nominated. So I know there's probably like a lot of films or television shows that didn't really get a chance to be finished for it to be nominated. So that kind of sucks. But definitely just not having enough time to get in and get things rolling. And I know a lot of things were posted onto like Amazon Video, Netflix, and I know a lot of people don't have it, so it doesn't really give people a chance like, oh, let me go watch this and maybe like nominate it. I mean, just vote for it. So like it just makes it limited, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
I know. It's sad because it's such a different experience, like watching it on your computer versus like going to the theater and like sitting in there and watching it with everyone. So I feel like some movies that were like made for theater may not have had the same effect, like sitting on your laptop watching it. So that also could have been a part of it. Like some people not have liked some films as much just because they didn't get to go to the theater and sit and experience everything. So that could be a part of it too, I think.
I completely echo what Grace was saying. I am eagerly anticipating the release of Nomadland, and I can't wait to see it. And it pains me the fact that I'm probably going to end up watching it on Hulu on my laptop
Yeah.
when it's so, based on the trailers, deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible. And I think that's definitely affecting the way voters are seeing the films based on how they're seeing it, as well as it affected how movies got made this past year. And so I think it's affected it fundamentally to its core. To kind of wrap up, we'll throw out a fun question. Who would y'all's dream host be for the Golden Globes?
I really want to see John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. They always crack me up. I think like they've hosted stuff before. I don't know, not the Globe specifically maybe, but like I'll watch their like hosting opening segments whenever I need a good laugh. I think they're hilarious. So dream hosts, I think them two together.
I had the exact same thing written down in my notes. I said John Mulaney and Nick Kroll, or John Mulaney and Pete Davidson, because
Yes.
those
Yes.
two went on the talk show circuit last year and were very funny together. And so I think John Mulaney plus one could be a great duo.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, I mean, I know he's pretty explicit, but he does such a good job when he hosts SNL. But Dave Chappelle, he's very funny, but like, if not him, then definitely Meryl Streep. I absolutely love Meryl Streep, and I think she would do an amazing job.
I love her.
I think Dave Chappelle could definitely provide the energy that a show like the Globes thrives off of. So that could be a lot of fun. And that's another big question for myself, is like how the Globes are going to be this year, because traditionally the Globes is the loud, fun award show where everybody's in the same room, everybody's drunk together, and they're having a big party. And due to the pandemic, that's probably not going to be occurring. And I think it's going to be a very different Golden Globes this year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. This was Grace, Alexis, and Hunter talking about the Golden Globes, and back to the hosts.